Interesting. Some things are happening here which I normally have control of, but they just happen like that. Moya, thank you very much. This is Charlie Gillett, GLR 94.9, and I'm happy to have Brian Eno. Brian, welcome.
Hello.
And you've had a bit of a tight squeeze getting here.
Squeeze getting here, yes. I nearly brought my 3 children down with me.
Oh, that would have been all right. That would have been fine.
Because I had a bit of a babysitter crisis.
Oops, sorry. I'm just changing the sound of my headphones. Now I can hear myself properly. A babysitter crisis, but it was resolved.
It was resolved, yes.
Good.
At the last moment.
All right. So the way this thing works is we take turns to play records. It's very indulgent, whatever you like.
Great to me.
And how are you going to begin? Because I've actually put this in without looking at it, so I don't know what you got here.
This is quite an obscure record, but I think a most beautiful song by an American guy called Rende Eot, who's a sort of, I don't know, a tenor singer who sings pop songs. But then you could hardly call them pop songs, really, I suppose. But I thought it would be probably the only piece of white music I'd play on the program.
So we start with this. So say his name again.
Rende Eot.
And not one word can fill my bed, and I'll never go roving again. In Amsterdam there lived a maid who sadly in her grave was laid. Her lover left when he should have stayed, and I'll never go a roving. I'll never
asked at the beginning, is it okay to fade tracks on this program? Well, it is.
Yes,
but
of course you can.
no, but one couldn't have faded that.
No, you couldn't really, because it had a climax, didn't it?
So he sounds almost Irish at times.
Well, I don't know much about him. I know he's very tall, bald, very strange on stage, and he comes from San Francisco. But since that record came out, which was about 5 or 6 years ago, to a deafening silence from critics and public, I've never heard anything more about him.
Can I see the cover so I can get a sense of how what his name looks like? Because for people listening, every time one runs across a new name, it's like Rende Eot, R-I-N-D-E, Eot. And the label is D-I-W. No, not D-I.
I don't know what the label is either.
It's from Tokyo, the label, but he's from San Francisco.
Yeah.
Well, beautiful. And I'm going to take the most banal of links, but the track isn't banal, by simply playing another wonderful voice. This is something that's just come out, 1001 Nights, by somebody called Mad Shir Khan. And each track is with a different singer, and the first one, a woman from Algeria called Fela Ababsa.
Mm.
مقسومة أنا حياتي
then it goes into something called Algerian Sunrise, in brackets instrumental, but that is Fela Ababsa with Madshir Khan from 1001 Nights.
What a voice.
Lovely voice, lovely singing.
Yeah.
So, you sat down again. We were just thinking maybe we were going to maintain energy by standing
up. Yes, I could do that, but I was then far away from my record, so
a compromise.
Yeah. So I've got another record here. I had a German friend over, a young German guy, and I wanted to show him what was great about late 70s music, sort of late 60s to late 70s. And I ended up playing him this record, which is Ball of Confusion, which has so much concentration in it and so much excitement. There's like something great happens every bar, you know. There's no sort of treading water in this thing at all.
People moving out, people moving in. Why be
Everything and the kitchen sink.
I tell you, there isn't a moment missed in there, not a chance missed, you know. That was by that guy Norman Whitfield, who produced a lot of the best records of that time. It's like they wanted to take every idea that was in the air and put them into a single. It's not even a long thing, you know. It's only 3.5 minutes or something.
There's some great little lines. The new Beatles records are gas.
Yeah.
The only safe place to live is on an Indian reservation next to each other.
Yes.
So I'm just Charlie Gillett on GLR 94.9 talking with Brian Eno, and it seems in one sense unnecessary to introduce Brian Eno, but in another one should make no assumptions. So you were with Roxy Music.
Yep.
You left and produced, among others, David Bowie, U2. And by the way, today's programme, by complete coincidence, is on the same night as on ITV at 11:10 tonight. The U2 talk about the Joshua Tree, and I imagine you must be in that
really?
programme, right?
Yes, I suppose I am, yeah.
Yeah. Who else? David, but Talking Heads, Laurie Anderson, James.
Yeah. Some other people as well.
Some other people as well, right. We won't go... Anyway, now it's that Brian Eno, in case you were wondering. But what made me say all that then, in a way, was that I've never heard you work with music remotely like the music we just listened to. Have you ever had a chance to do that kind of music?
No, it's funny. I never get invited by those people. It's one of the sort of great mismatches of my life, because I really love that music. And in fact, it's the source, really, of my listening. You know, some of the things I'll be playing tonight are the things that I've been listening to for 20 or 30 or 40 years even. But I think also there are quite different talents from mine wrapped up in that kind of music. So probably one of the reasons I'm an avid listener is because I don't really understand how they do it. You know,
but one of your things, well, there's so many things that you do and ways you approach it, but if you were given a band who played on stage in that way, you know, in other words, you didn't have to define the funkiness of it. There it was. You heard it. You heard it live. There is a great trick, isn't there, in recapturing that in the studio. It's not just a documentary process.
It's quite different from the way I work, I think. I mean, I've talked to people who record that kind of music, and it's so much to do with performance. You know, I don't know if you ever heard that great series that was on the BBC about the evolution of Tamla Motown, with guys talking about how they would spend 3 or 4 days in the studio with the whole band, plus the backing singers, the brass section, the string section. They would just go through it again and again. Well, you know, that's a very strange way of working to me, because we usually build things up bit by bit, like a painting, you know, scrape something off, add something new. Whereas they worked in some ways a more old-fashioned way. But actually, it's the way I'm now starting to think is the best way to make records.
Try and get it as much as possible done all at once.
Spend a lot of time in preparation, basically.
Yeah.
You know, so that what goes on the tape is a real exciting moment in time. You know, it can't possibly not have been exciting to be in the studio when that song we just heard was recorded. It must have been an amazing moment for everyone who was there.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't imagine quite that excitement if the thing had been coldly built up. Let's do the bass on the Thursday, the drums on the Friday.
Yeah.
We'll get the backing singers in on Thursday. And
Well, this next record I'm going to play, my listeners have heard this before, but I'm sort of intrigued by it because it's from Mali, and it's a man who has made records 10 years ago in the style of Ali Farka Touré, so he would be an acoustic, bluesy sort of guitarist and singer. But there's a Frenchman living in Bamako at the moment in Mali who is into the modern technology. And these two together have come up with this.
pensa grandissimo a me. E chimica come non può.
Sebago Yogo from the album Sia, and that's Diarabi.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun record to have made, doesn't it?
Yes.
I bet they had a really good time on that.
But I wonder how much of that they did in one go or not. You just can't tell. I mean, the trick is that it sounds as if they did. That's what the aim is, isn't it?
That's right.
The contrivance of spontaneity.
Well, that's what theatre is, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you can do it. It's just sometimes you hear it and you know that it actually really did happen, and there's something incontrovertible about that.
So, you were wondering what the name of the Frenchman was involved in that. He's called Yves Werner, and he is changing the face of Malian music by being down there, because up until now, everybody has just done the acoustic thing, really.
Is that popular in Mali?
Very, very popular, and he's now known as Techno Issa. All right, what are we going to now? I put the CDs without looking at them.
Okay, so this is going back about 40 or 50 years from that song. This is the Swanee Quintet, which is a gospel group singing New Walk.
What happened then, children, look ahead. walking up King's Highway, and hear what happened then, children. Look here, Lord God. I started to walk, and I had to walk. A whole lot of people don't like to see you shout, but the Bible tells me to shout anywhere I go. Lord God, look here, and hear what happened, children. Look here. I started to shout, and I had to shout.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it? That really gives me the shivers, that one.
Swanee Quintet, New Walk. And that's for a record. Brian's copy's got our price, $8.99. More gospel greats on Cascade.
And there's 19 other great songs on there as well.
Wow.
Music's so cheap, really, isn't it?
It is.
It's scandalous, really, that you can get 20 truly historic pieces of music for $8.99.
And that's from 1959, later than it sounds, actually.
Yep.
All right, well, I'm just taking the criteria of making music that makes the hairs on your back of your neck do funny things.
That's the only place I've got hairs now.
And that's from the film Time of the Gypsies. The music's composed by Goran Bregovic, but that's supposedly a traditional song from Albania, Edelezi.
Lovely.
A favourite of the house, that one is.
Really beautiful. Are we still doing the hairs on the back of the neck thing?
If you can keep it up.
Yeah, I can. This is Mary Wells with what was ludicrously released as a B-side. One of the best songs I've ever heard. And it has one note in it that, well, I mean, does damage to your laundry, actually. So, yeah.
Look at me.
So why isn't it there? I pulled the... Oh, here we go. Here we go.
And it's only been a few days. I can't get rid of these heartaches you gave to me.
That was a lot of notes that made your
laundry soiled.
Yes. Well, I'm going to rush up to the news with just one more doo-wop, because I know, is it your daughter called Ilial?
Ariel.
Ariel. This was very Ariel. Lovely. The Dubs, Donna Wells.
Mary Wells, Oh Little Boy.
From her greatest hits. Right, there's lots more from us, but right now it's time for the news here on GLR. If I can just pull the right cart.
News for London from the BBC on GLR 94.9 FM.
Charlie Gillett here with Brian Eno. Do you ever stop and think that you might have had one of the more interesting lives it's been possible to have for the last 30 years? Reading your diary, you wrote your diary and had it published from 1995, and I must say that thought occurred to me several times.
That was quite a good year, actually. Yeah. It's been very boring the last year.
That's it. But you're
No, it hasn't actually. No, it's been pretty much like this one.
And where did I read that you're now working with Brian Ferry on an album? Is that right? Sort of.
Well, I've written a song that he has sung rather beautifully, I must say. I've just realised sometimes people sing my songs better than I do. That's a breakthrough, really. It saves me embarrassing myself by standing in front of a microphone.
But on the other hand, there was a nice moment you described in that year where somebody with a protege female singer, probably knowing not that much about you, said that they wanted you to write a song for her, and you demonstrated the kind of words that you normally wrote. Put him off for life.
Yeah, she wanted to be a sort of Whitney Houston type singer. And since I've never written a song with either the word I or love or you in it, or any of those in any combination, you, I, love you, I thought I wasn't really the right choice for the job. So then I recited one of my songs to her. She never called again.
That's very good technique. So, all right, we're moving on with Sly and the Family Stone.
This is a record that really changed the world, actually. It was a record that musicians really, really got excited about. I remember when this came out, which was about, I guess, 1971 or 72, so many musicians listening to this and saying, wow, this is really new.
This particular track or just the whole album?
The whole album. I mean, this track it's all good, but it produced so many offspring, this record, and it wasn't terribly successful commercially, but it really made a difference to the way musicians thought about what they were doing.
If it were left up to me, it would take more than an ocean. If it were left up to me, we could put ideas in motion. Had it been left up to you, would you try? Would you try? If it were left up to me, I would try. If it were left up to me, we would live in a bubble. If it were left up to me or you, we would say out of trouble. But it's the way that they do.
What's wrong?
Makes you cry, makes you cry, and still it's left up to you not to try. If it were left up to you, would you sigh and forget it? It's so simple to see if you live to regret it. Now that it's left up to me and you, will you try? Will you try? I promise from me to you, I will try. I promise from me to you, I will try.
I think I've gone to the next track, haven't we?
That's also a great track, but you shouldn't have gone there, really.
Okay, right. Well, that's all right.
In the interests of diversity, we should play someone else.
If it were left up to me, Sly and the Family Stone. We are actually here on the phones, but we're also transfixed by what's going on here. We haven't actually mentioned the number or who's here, but Nicky and Jimmy
or
Tanya,
what we're doing, or why you're listening.
Exactly. Tanya Richinska and Nicky Akinjimi on 01712242000.
They won't answer anyway.
They probably won't, but anyway, you could ring it. I definitely have a record lined up in here. I think I'm just going to play it and find out what it was. Oh no, it's Oliver Mutukudzi, because again, one of the intriguing things you suddenly had this insight during the year of 1995. I think what you said was that it seemed to you that something like 80% of hit records have probably got some kind of backing vocals on them, but only about a third of the records that people are making have backing vocals on.
It's an undiscovered law.
I know,
actually,
it was very good.
Backing vocals make hits.
Well, even backing vocals probably won't help Oliver Mutukudzi have a hit, but nevertheless, they are vital in music where one doesn't understand the language. The sing-along element is sort of there, you know.
But do you know why? Also, because backing vocals have a special place in music. They're like the voice of society, or the other people responding to the person singing. So, I mean, that last record we heard is all backing vocals, and Sly just occasionally says, "Oh yeah." He sort of agrees with society most of the time, but normally the role of backing vocals is to try to be a sort of counterpoint. The classic example is that Shangri-La's, where they're going, "Is she really going out with me?" That kind of thing, where you're very aware of the fact that there's sort of dialogue between an individual and the other people around them. And I think it's so silly that people don't realize that's actually what's interesting. It's sort of making music into something of a soap opera, to want to have that interchange going on.
But what kind of spoiled at one point backing vocals for me was that they sounded very often like things that had been added on afterwards by somebody said, well, that's a good song, but let's make it a bit more commercial. And it's almost that the tone of voice or the sound of the backing vocals would sweeten it, as they would say. And that, I didn't like it. But
well, that's a mistaken way of doing them, just to sort of decorate the lead vocal. No, I think what's interesting is counterpoint, where you have a completely different line, somebody else saying something else over the music,
And Ray Charles's Hit the Road Jack is one of the best examples of that.
That's a great example,
yeah. He said, "What'd you say? Hit the road, Jack."
Yeah.
Oh, you can't mean that. Anyway, this is the same sort of thing, but it's from Zimbabwe.
so pretty.
Well, it's a funny mixture, pretty and plaintive.
Yeah,
Very
it's
nice combination.
very touching. I was just saying, I really hope you never go off the air, because I can't imagine where else you could hear music like this, really.
Well, we're talking about GLR generally when you say that, I think. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a good station. I'm always tuned to it.
Well, it was because I heard you call into somebody else's show. I thought, Brian Eno's listening. Maybe we can con him to coming into here. It worked, and I'm very pleased. So, this year, what have you been up to, as it were?
Well, I've been writing a lot of songs. I haven't been doing singing for a few years because I lost faith in the song. But then I started to find things that I thought a voice could do that were really interesting. In fact, I brought something in with me, which I think is a bit presumptuous to play your own music on a radio station. But since I only recorded this the day before yesterday, I thought the topicality might make it worth hearing. This is a new song called Bottom Liners that I just did. It's quite long, so we'll probably fade out somewhere, okay?
I was just saying how similar to the record we just played that was. No wonder. No, this is
not
you.
me.
This is you here. This is a talkover bit.
Yeah, there's a long section here before we get to the next verse, which I haven't quite concluded yet. I'll either edit this or put an instrumental over it, but I'm just talking really to fill the space.
That's what they said to Elvis when he did that bit in the middle of Are You Lonesome Tonight? You know the word. Somebody said the world is just a stage.
Okay, I think we're just about to come up to the 1, 2, 3, 4.
And in the future, in
So what's the title?
It's called Bottom Liners.
And it's going to be on what kind of release when it comes?
I don't know really. I just made it the day before yesterday. It was done in an afternoon. And it isn't really finished, but I thought it would be nice to hear it on the radio.
It's very good.
Extremely topical piece of music, that.
There you go, as topical as you get. I'm not talking about this next one, I'm just going to play it. But before I do, Joel called in to say, is there a CD by the group Eddie Sanko? Have we
Eddie Canfo.
Eddie Canfo.
Eddie Canfo.
Is that still around, do you know?
I don't think there's a CD available at the moment. It's funny because I came down with a Ghanaian minicab driver who said to me, "You did Eddie Canfo, didn't you?"
So it's come up twice in a couple of hours.
That's funny. Yeah, they're a Ghanaian band, yeah. I don't think they exist anymore as a band, but all the musicians are still working.
Okay. Well, I like playing this one to people who don't know it because it takes a little while before you work out what the tune is. That was Hound Dog.
It could have been a lot of other things as well. It sounded just like rock and roll music too, didn't it?
The Chuck Berry song.
Mm-hmm.
Quartet Indigo. And you were saying you just met Jerry Leiber, who wrote...
Yeah, well, that song, Hound Dog, was written by Jerry Leiber and Stoller when they were young guys. They were 17, I think, when they wrote that. And I had dinner with him, and I was saying, how did you used to record those kinds of songs in those days? And he said, well, we used to write 4 songs at a time because 4 was the maximum number of songs you were allowed to record under musicians' union rules in one afternoon.
A 3-hour session.
A 3-hour session, you could do 4 songs. It would be 2 A-sides and 2 B-sides. And he said, we used to work for about 4 months on those 4 songs. So they would be playing them over and over again with the rhythm section and introducing more musicians.
In a rehearsal room.
In rehearsal, yeah. And then it was like going into the studio and just getting it as quickly as you could then, because they couldn't afford too much studio time.
Which is how Alfred Hitchcock always reckons he made his films, doesn't he? He had everything storyboarded out, the script, everything. He knew exactly what he was going to do, and he just made the film. And he actually, for him, he said it was quite boring finally making the film because it was exactly how he knew it was going to be.
Really?
So I don't think it was boring doing it Willie Mae Thornton's version of Hound Dog by any means. So here we are, coming up towards 8:30, Brian. So we got one more record from you. What is this going to be?
Gosh, what is it? Oh, yes, well, it's probably my favourite record of all time.
Oh, that's
good. Or one of them, anyway.
That's good, yeah. Today?
It's Donna Summer's State of Independence. I just so adore this record, and I think it kind of captures a moment in history that will never happen again, this moment of intense pride, and optimism. We're too cynical to believe in a song like this now.
So, and an interesting genesis in a way, because it's written by John Anderson, formerly of Yes.
And which is odd, isn't it? And then produced by Giorgio Moroder, who was sort of a German disco producer, and features most of the great singers in the world in the backing.
Oh, does it? I thought it had musical youth involved somewhere as well. Aren't they involved in this?
Oh, I think so, yes. That may be true.
Yeah, but Donna Summer is the...
But the singers there's this amazing backing vocal in this, and there was just about every great singer of the day in this backing group.
All right.
So, well, anyway, check it out.
Sorry. Every second of it.
That's such an ending to that record, isn't it? It's worth all the crappy drumming to get there.
She does really well. She sings herself free of the drums in a weird way.
It's so interesting because, in fact, if I listed the ingredients in that record, apart from her voice and the backing vocals, I dislike nearly all of them. But somehow the combination works. It really surprises me that I listen to that often because I can't quite understand why it's as great as it is.
So
it's like Picasso, actually. I always felt the same way about him. Why do his paintings look so good? It's the same thing as this.
You mean if you look at any detail of it, all the sort of traditional criticism, he can't draw.
Yeah. But and I could do that.
Yeah, that's it. But you wouldn't. You would never do a backing track as simple and mundane as that, wouldn't
No,
it?
I don't think I would.
No.
But it's probably because of that her voice sounds so fantastic because she flies away from it, you know.
And sometimes things on the radio, the details that concern you if you're listening at home, you don't sort of hear them on the radio for some reasons. And there are records you hear on the radio, you bring them home and they don't sound as good. All that business.
Usually happens to me.
Does it? Well, Brian, thank you very much for coming in. It's been great. A pretty good inaugural Bush House Saturday night. And what do we do here? We press no, we don't. We do that. You never made a reggae record or a rocksteady record or anything close to that?
How close?
Well, tell me how close.
No, I haven't really, no. But I must say, I was the first admirer of Lee Perry.
There you go.
I remember playing that to a bunch of English journalists who thought it was catastrophically awful, Lee Perry, and then about 4 years later bumping into them all smoking trumpet-sized joints, saying, Lee Perry. They were almost inarticulate by that time, of course.
And who knows where they are now?
I know.
There you go. Well, this is the Scudlights. They're Wednesday night at the Camden Underworld. And coming up here, Lucy's Keeping in the Burning Bush.